Coming up, rides that could stay or rides that could go at Epcot. Welcome to the SeeWDW Near and Far podcast, where we explore perspectives on the Walt Disney World Resort from 10 to 1,000 miles away. I am Mike the Far in this equation.
And I'm John the Near.
All right. Well, John, seems like you said at the beginning of the pod, or like before we start recording, that is, that you're getting to the parks twice, about twice a week, right?
Yep.
Right.
That seems to be the new normal. And, you know, I don't know, the way it's sounding, I might be there 5 times next week.
That's right.
Or I might be there twice again. I'm sure yet. But, yeah, we've been, I've been busy with my house stuff, and I think it's probably going to continue to average around twice a week for at least for a while now. Once things get more normalized and routines get set, and I take care of a bunch of things out in the yard and that I have to, that I will get back to at least 3, which is more normal for me. But
Well, just to make you feel better, that still makes those of us 1,000 miles away very jealous. So
yeah, I only go to the theme parks twice a week. I mean, feel bad for me.
All right, how did you do this week?
Well, last Sunday, I decided I actually wanted to go to Hollywood Studios because I have not been there in a long time. And, you know, when I say a long time, I don't know what that means exactly, but probably like a month at least. And that reservation just wasn't coming up for, you know, it was one of the hardest ones to get. And so Epcot was my only option for last Sunday. So I took Epcot. I got there around 1 o'clock, and instead of driving to Epcot, though, I drove to Hollywood Studios, and I parked there. And my reasoning was I really like riding on the Disney Skyliner, and I like walking back and forth between the two. And a little side note, Florida, the summer has finally arrived in Florida. It's been really cool and mild. Now it's back to 90s and just sweat dripping on my glasses as I'm walking outside. And so back to normal Florida weather. But anyway, went to Hollywood Studios. I had to get to Epcot to go in just so I can come back and go to Hollywood. So I took the Skyliner to Caribbean Beach, and then I took the Skyliner to Epcot from there. And I took a lot of time lapses on it. And the reason I did time lapse on the second one was they filled the Skyliner. So I had people from all over the world in my Skyliner with me. And I say that because most of them didn't speak English. I think there was some women from China in there and somebody else from somewhere else. But anyway, I did time lapse because that way, I don't expect anybody to be quiet when I'm filming. So, you know, time lapse doesn't matter about noise and that. So I did that. And once again, we're back to people in the Skyliner, which technically I like. For an introvert like me, it feels like I'm socializing with people, even though I'm not really. And I did talk. Yeah, that's a good point, too. The people across from me, I heard them talking. Like, I don't think they've ever been to Disney before, and they were wondering about how to get to Magic Kingdom. They were talking to each other. So I did chime in a couple of times and, you know, gave them a little advice about how I said technically from Epcot, you could take the monorail to the Magic Kingdom, or you can take a monorail to the transportation center and take a ferry boat. I said you could basically ride Disney transportation all day. You know, it's like a ride in and of itself. So They thought that was very interesting. But again, I don't know why I tend to get more talkative in that little box in the sky. I didn't talk. The I don't think the Chinese people spoke English, so I didn't really, and I didn't know what they were saying to chime in. So
Yeah.
I would have though. Like I'd be happy to discuss things with them too. But anyway, I thought that was fun being in a box with people from around the world and even talking to people just a little bit.
It's very cool, isn't it? I mean, after like nearly 2 years of not having that sense of community, even though there's a lot of some stress and angst around the Disney community about some things, isn't it nice that we still find a sense of community in that little box? You know,
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool.
And like I said, I like riding it by myself because I can record better, but I did miss, like I said, for a introverted, antisocial person like me, it puts me in a position to actually talk to other humans that I don't know out in public. So, and it doesn't happen that often. So again, that was nice to get back to that a little. So I went to Epcot, and unfortunately, you can't see what I did at Epcot because I decided to go live while I was at Epcot. And I decided that because when we were discussing my stats and my engagement and my reach and all this, things like going live impact that kind of thing. And I just haven't really been doing it much for a long time. So, I went live and I just kind of talked to people and, walked around, we walked through, what do you call it? The Connections Cafe. I showed people that may not have seen it. I showed them where Club Cool was. I actually walked into Club Cool, and that was my first time in Club Cool since it reopened, and I still don't care about it, so I just looked around. It was crowded, and I left. But anyway, I did that, and I was considering going on Mission Space. I walked past. I say we because I was talking to people in my phone live while I was doing this. But so I walked past Guardians of the Galaxy just to see what's going on there. I was considering going on Mission Space and bringing the people on the live stream with me, but it was a 25-minute wait for the more intense side, the orange side. So I told them by the time I get on, everybody would drop off, staring at the wall in there. So I started to walk back, and I walked out of, I started walking to Epcot, or to Hollywood Studios from Epcot. And again, I was going live probably up until around the bus station at Hollywood Studios. I took people on the shortcut through the boardwalk. That's the direction I took. So if you ever wondered how to walk between the two, check out my live video from, I think it was Sunday the 15th, 2022, May 15th, 2022, not Sunday then. Sunday, May 15th.
How did the live viewers respond to that? Did they enjoy that? Did a lot of drop off, or did you have people like?
It was weird, and I can't tell if it's because of boredom or because of bad internet connections or whatever. But it had a constant flow of 40 to 50 people, and that was people dropping in and off, and it seemed good though. I mean, people were talking to me, they're asking me questions, or I haven't done one where I actually just talked to people in a long time. So I enjoyed it, but the reason I don't do it much is I don't have any footage at all from Epcot because I was live there the whole time, so I have nothing from there. But I thought to myself, the Flower and Garden's been going on forever. Anything I get there, I probably have already 100 times over. It's not that big a deal. I need to go live occasionally, and I still do go live. Like a lot of times, if my wife is with me, I'll have her go live to share ride experience stuff. But anyway, I stopped the live because I really wanted some pictures and videos when I started getting near Hollywood Studios, and that's where I remembered too to turn the camera sideways for YouTube a little bit to take some pictures around there too. So you'll see, some pictures of the front again, like we had before, the ones you used on a couple of podcasts back. The sky wasn't that blue.
Yeah,
blue skies.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks beautiful.
And I even did one inside, like horizontal view one of just the crossroads of the world. So anyway, I got back, went to Hollywood Studios. Of course, it's so crowded there. It always is, but it was still nice to be back. I liked the atmosphere of the park. I walked past Gertie the dinosaur, and I always like to see her footprints in the concrete and the dirt and all that. I always think that's a cool thing that a lot of people miss. And then I went on Star Tours because it's one of the few rides you can actually get on. So I went on Star Tours, had a good ride on that. No wait at all, which kind of scares me a little bit. It makes me think that they're not going to mind getting rid of that at all eventually. So then I went down to, I'm sure most of you can guess, but Muppet Vision 3D. And the reason is you really can't get on anything out to Hollywood Studios right now. It was just unbelievable lines everywhere. So, and I know I say that a lot. I don't go to Hollywood Studios a lot because all I can ride is Star Tours and Muppets when I'm there. So, but again, it was nice to walk around to see the stuff. And now here's the interesting thing. I went live from the Muppets, and I didn't talk to anybody. And just so everybody knows, I waited until everybody went into the theater because I had people basically say that I'm a jerk for recording in there because you're not supposed to, and it takes away from the show, from people around you and all that. They do not mind video recording. They don't want lights and they don't want cell phone usage, but it's not because of the phone, it's because of noise from the phone. Like imagine like a kid playing a game and the noise is loud and all. It's like, so you are allowed to record it, but not only are you allowed, I wait in the pre-show room until everybody gets a seat and those doors are shutting, and then I pick a spot all the way to the left where there's nobody within about 5 to 10 seats of me, and there's nobody behind me is my most important thing. And I do it from that angle so that I don't hold my phone up or bother anybody during the show. So, but here's what I wanted to say about that though. And I don't know why this happens sometimes. And this really isn't for this part of the show, but they're probably averaged around 100 people for the live video. But what surprised me is when I posted it, it kind of did really well for a 15-minute long video. It's got 2,700 likes, and it says it reached 46,000 people, 170 shares, 252 saves, 40,597 non-followers saw it. Only 5,900 of the people that I follow saw it, but that's normal. Why would people that follow me want to see Muppet stuff? But anyway, I'm being sarcastic.
I know.
I don't know. And it got me 110 new follows. And This was kind of like a throwaway thing for me. I'm like, I know nobody's going to like it. No one's going to watch it. People are going to get bored and log out in the live. But I love the Muppets, and I would enjoy seeing it even on my phone. So I just did it. And again, the reaction I got was really good. Like, I really am surprised at how much people like the Muppets. And yeah, it's almost a 15-minute video. So yeah, I was just surprised then. All right, and then after that, I don't think I did a lot else. I just took some pictures and videos as I walked out. But yeah, that was about it for that day. So that was Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and sorry there's not much pictures to put up for Epcot.
Oh, there's some
walkthrough.
Yeah, you got a couple, and
just look back slightly. All the things I talked about will be right there. Probably the week before. So I take a lot of the same pictures. So then on Tuesday, we decided that we have not been going to Universal for a long time, so we needed to go there. And so left after work, got there about 5 o'clock. We decided to go to the Universal Studios side because I think last time we went to Islands. And honestly, I feel like Islands has more rides and more cool stuff to see, but Universal side is good too, so I don't like to ignore it. So while we were there, I noticed Superman was in the prop shop. For only $3,000, you can get a Man of Steel mannequin. I don't know where that was from, though.
I don't know. I was looking at that too. I was trying to figure out what the connection is here.
Yeah, I really have no idea. Like, they must have had him somewhere around the park. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Then my wife and I hadn't eaten yet, and we really wanted to try the crepes, or we wanted to go to the crepe stand, but she was going to get a vegan dessert crepe, and she hasn't eaten anything. So I'm like, why don't we go to Mel's Diner and split a burger and fries? That way she can still have a crepe, and I can still have a crepe. It's not huge to split it. So we went there, split a burger. And I don't know why, I always like the food at Mel's Diner. It feels almost like a real diner, like kind of like a dive place, but I really enjoy the food there. It's just salty fries and salty burger. But again, consistently, it always seems to be hot, fresh, and just good. Like, I always finish the food there. So Mel's Diner, not the worst place to eat there. So then we went to the crepe stand, and the reason I was thinking about the crepe stand is there are two new crepes. There is a pork carnitas and a vegan berry. And I should have tried the pork carnitas, but I really wanted my smoked brisket like that. I just love that crepe so much. So I decided I'm just going to get that. Next time, I think I'm going to try the pork carnitas, or I will try to make myself do that. As always, my brisket was great. My wife did not love the vegan brisket or the vegan berry crepe. It was very liquidy this time. Like, I don't know if they know how to make it properly yet. Like, there was literally like liquid coming out of the bottom of the thing, like looked like water just dripping out. And I think they need to perfect that one yet, because she used to get vegan crepes when available, but they were custom made. She would just tell them what to put in it. In this case, she just got the vegan berry. And like I said, it's brand new, so maybe they just need to adjust a little bit.
It looks delicious, but I mean, I can definitely see if you have like a liquid running out of the bottom of it, you wouldn't love it.
Yeah, it makes it hard to eat. It's dripping all over the ground, and the other thing was it stuck to the paper that it's in.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like you had to tear the paper away to eat it, and it was just awkward to eat too. And I did try some. I liked it, but the blueberry was very blueberry though. So like oddly blueberry.
Just overpowering then, huh?
Yeah, which is weird because it's real blueberries. Like, I don't know. Maybe they added a little extra blueberry flavor. And there's the lawn mowing again.
Yeah, I heard it coming.
That's how we know we're going to be successful with this.
Absolutely.
But anyway, the crepes are good. I love the brisket crepe. I only liked the vegan one. It was all right. But if you're not vegan, though, the sweet crepes are really good. I've had cookies and cream already, and man, that's almost too good, though, because then you would think one crepe and half a burger and some fries would not overfill you, but I felt stuffed out of that, because that crepe is a lot. That smoked brisket, like it does feel like a lot of crepe. But so then we were walking past the Animal Actors Show, which is right by there. Oh, wait a minute. There was one other thing. So yeah, and I forgot, because once again I decided to go live here too, because I have not been live on my Universal account in months probably. So I was going to ride ET, and I've recorded every inch of ET many times. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go live. And, that worked out pretty well. I got the front seat. A lot of people enjoyed it and followed along. I think I averaged around 100 people the whole time. So that was impressive for my Universal account. So, sorry. So yeah, we went on ET, which is still just about my favorite ride in all of Universal. I just love that ride, so I'll go on as much as I can. Then we were, the Animal Encounter show was scheduled for 6, and it was only a couple minutes after. So a little advice: if you're walking past the Animal Encounter show and it recently started, and you're like, oh no, it's too late, they will allow you to go up the back stairs and at the front, because then you won't disturb the animals, so you can still watch it. You just can't walk out front and sit. You have to go all the way, and it's a lot of stairs. Just so you know, a lot of stairs. I was winded from going up there, but so we watched the show, and up there too, the birds fly up there. So I had a macaw fly right past me. And it literally hit me in the shoulder with its wings as it went by. That's how close it hit me as it went past.
I think say that show is really underrated. I really enjoyed that when we went there. I only saw the show once, and there was a couple stumbles with the animals and stuff, but that just added to the show. It just made it more fun.
Oh, there's always stumbles, but like you said, that's part of it. It's funny, and you just never know. When it comes to things like cats, it's like they may or may not do what they're supposed to do. So even the train ones, they're like, "Oh, what's this in the bush?" I'm gonna stop here. So
it's just a fun show. I think people don't really pay much attention to it, but it's I really enjoy it a lot.
Nah, me too. I do enjoy it. And a little extra bonus fact: when I lived in Kissimmee, my neighbor worked there, and how they have a bunch of dogs there. She would bring home about 5 dogs every night.
Oh, wow.
That would stay at her house. And she had, I think, a macaque monkey that lived there, and that you've probably seen in a lot of movies that actually lived there. She never let me actually come in and see it, but one of her dogs jumped the fence one night, and I went over to return it, and I heard a hissing sound, and I looked over her head. There was a monkey on top of her head.
Oh, my goodness.
Yelling at me. So, a little tiny macaque monkey. So,
that's awesome.
Anyway, that was a little side thing from when I lived in Kissimmee. But so from there, we were walking past Men in Black. And let me just say, too, E.T. had like a 25 or 30-minute wait, but we have Express Pass after 4 with the Premier Pass. Unlike Disney, gives you nothing for your pass. They tell you they wish you weren't there. And
yeah.
So anyway, so then we're going by Men in Black, and I enjoy Men in Black. I like the theme. I like the movie. I like the ride. It's a fun ride, and there's so much in there. You could ride it 100 times and still see more aliens and more parts you didn't, or aiming at weird windows or tilted cans and try to up your score. And so went through there, rode Men in Black, and let's see, from there we went over to Diagon Alley, which, as always, was extremely packed. I was able to catch the dragon, shoot some flames before I left, and I considered going on Gringotts, but I really don't like the express line here. The express line, when it's not really, really crowded, it's only a little bit faster or maybe even slower than the other. So I think we went over that before. This is one of the express lines that Universal, I feel, do not work well. So we didn't go on that. But on the way out, we were kind of looking over at Transformers. And we haven't done that one in a while either. So we're like, well, how about we ride Transformers? And with the Express Pass, it only took a couple minutes, and we got on Transformers. And at that point, it was a little after 7, so we decided to head out. But as you can tell, 2 hours. I went on E.T., saw the Animal Show, Men in Black, and then Transformers. That's 3 rides in a show in 2 hours. I mean, that's pretty darn good with Universal Express Pass at night. So I was impressed.
Just goes to show I'm actually thinking about trying to come down in the fall to do like an overnight and bring a friend along that has never been down there, and along with my daughter, and go see Horror Nights. And if I do that, I'm thinking about getting getting an annual pass, getting the Premier Pass, because we're going to be coming back when we do the 5K in January. We're going to stay at Universal, and we're going to we're bringing the whole family to Universal. And if you have the annual pass, you can buy day tickets at a pretty good discount, from what I understand. So I'm considering that. I'm still looking into that and still trying to figure that out. But I might do one annual pass, and it would make it worth it, because Universal's annual passes are very reasonable.
Well, here's the thing, though, too, to remember. Last year it was more restrictive, so definitely check the details. But a Universal annual pass, the premiere, includes one ticket to Horror Nights. So that's a big deal. And before,
part of the consideration,
you could use that anytime. So people would use it on like Saturday nights and Halloween night and all this stuff. But I'm pretty sure last year there was more restrictions on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more like, there was blockout dates for that free redemption day, which stinks. But when you're coming down, it would definitely, in September, you can probably go anytime. So that wouldn't matter. So.
And that's what we're thinking. We're thinking September, and that like during the early period, and maybe staying at Dockside or Surfside, and doing that thing. So, and
it's probably good you came down last year too, because now you were impressed with it. Wait until you see the no restrictions one.
Oh,
wait until you have no idea where the people are coming from. Like you'll get some legitimate jump scares, because they tend to put things in weird places too. Like if people tend to cringe and face the opposite way, they may have somebody right in that spot to double scare you and make it so you can't get away. You know what I mean? It's like, then you turn and it's like, guess what? We had an idea you were going to do that. And when you went, there was a lot of plexiglass and things like that to kind of block things out a little bit. So you could kind of tell, not always, in some of it. When you can't, man, there were some scares I had there in the past where, in my mind, all I see is like blackness and like the face from Insidious, that old lady just screaming in my face, and it's like I don't know where she was, what was going on. It's just all of a sudden, boom, she's there, and I'm wow. I said that. Obviously I know it's not real, but that was as real as you can get from being in a horror movie. And so people who experience things like that, when they see a bunch of curtains and plexiglass, they're like, it's good, but it isn't what it was. And it should be going back to what it was this year. So.
Well, I'm really excited. I hope I can take my daughter. She went to, in Pennsylvania, we have a very well-known, award-winning haunt called Field of Screams. And she went to Field of Screams last year and just loved it. She just came back and she couldn't speak enough about it. She still talks about it. And she was, at one point, she's like, well, if we can't go to Universal to see Horror Nights, at least I can go to Field of Screams. And I'm like, oh, honey. I'm like, you have no idea the production value. And Field of Screams is like, from what I understand, it's a big deal. Like, it's one of the best nationwide. Compared to Horror Nights, though, nah, they don't have that kind of money. So, I'm really looking forward.
Plus, Universal, when they do this stuff, you got to remember, they're not. They've been doing this for like 20-some years. Yeah. They have it down to a science. And like when they did Stranger Things, they didn't just do Stranger Things. They worked with the people who make Stranger Things. Netflix sent people. They sent props. They recreated it with them.
Yeah.
And they tend to do that. So not only are they trying to mimic something, the creators come to help. And that's why when they have their own franchises, it works very well too, because they have the props. They literally take props out of storage, and it makes it extremely real. And doing it for 20-some years, the amount of props they have around, they're like, oh, scary farmhouse, let's check. Oh, we had 10,000 items to add to that. It's like they just have so much available. It's unbelievable. And again, going through those houses, just looking at the detail, looking at the pictures, looking at that's what makes them special. It isn't just the scares, it's everything. So anyway, how do we get on that?
I don't know.
We're at Horror Nights now.
I'm excited about Horror Nights now. I don't even remember, but I mean,
Horror Nights. Took it
I love talking about Horror Nights. So, all right. Well, we should move on. Let's get to our topic of discussion today, which is, Epcot. This is part 3 in our series of could stay or could go attractions. Just really not saying, and again, I just repeat myself here, we're not saying that these are attractions that we want to go, but we're saying that if they're ones that could take a change, or if they could go, and maybe be replaced by something better or something else, we're good with that. This week is going to be Epcot, and this is going to be interesting, John. Epcot is a park that we both have a little bit of a legacy with. We both love some of the older aspects of Epcot, the futurism, the optimism that used to be there, and it's definitely changed over the years. So really interested to see what we get into here. But where do you want to start? You want to start at Spaceship Earth?
Oh, yeah, let's just start right out front and work our way through.
All right. Well, I mean, for me, Spaceship Earth has gone through some evolutions in the times that I have been there. I am not opposed to an update that makes sense. The last time that I heard that there's an update, it changed the whole nature of the attraction from like communication, futurism, and looking at the past. And, it changed the entire nature to a storytelling thing. I'm not really down with that. I'm not a big fan of changing Spaceship Earth into a storytelling thing. Spaceship Earth's always been about communication on planet Earth, and
it's been about technology too,
advancements,
and
yeah, and I don't like the idea of storytelling. If they keep it, if they make a change that makes sense and it stays consistent with the spirit and purpose of the ride of the attraction, then I'm good with that. I think the ride system could use a little bit of an update. I don't like the fact that it would be down for an extended period of time, but we're just basically looking at how we would feel about changes or taking that attraction out. I don't want to see it go. I can tell you that much. I don't think that park could take that attraction going. It's a centerpiece attraction. So I'm good if they keep it the way it is right now. If they want to tweak some of the narration or like change a few subtle things and update things, I'm good with that. But man, I hope they don't turn it into some storytelling thing.
Yeah, I still like the previous version. The guy who played Scar in The Lion King was the announcer, but I just enjoyed the last version because I liked the weird stuff you saw going down, like the city of the future and all the weird little blips of things going on. It almost had a creepy vibe to it, but anyway, as a blanket statement, I don't really want Disney to change any ride right this minute because I feel like they're making a large series of bad decisions when it comes to changing stuff. And I think they should wait a little bit until their head clears because, like I said, most changes they've done recently have not been for the better. I stand by that, and I think we had entire shows talking about that because some other people have said, "Oh, I trust them. Everything they do is better," and I'm like, "Well, how about this? And there's just a lot they haven't done well lately. Now, to contrast that, Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a pretty great ride. Nothing. It took them like 5 years to do it, and it's nothing to do with Epcot at all, but wonderful ride, wonderful queue. It's really good. So, again, as far as Spaceship Earth goes, I guess I'm with you that I don't mind them changing it if it makes sense. But right now, I feel like they definitely would not make sense because sense is not at the top of their priorities. So,
no.
So I'd have to say change it in a couple of years. But right now, I think you should just sit back and don't practice on something else, I guess.
Right.
I don't want you to ruin that. And right now, it's not the greatest ride right now, but it's still good. It's Epcot. It's classic. It takes you to a place that it's one of a kind. Like when you ride Spaceship Earth, there's nothing else like it. There literally is nothing else like it. And I like that. So again, right now, I feel like they'd replace it with things that have nothing to do with Epcot, nothing to do with technology, and probably a bunch of screens if I know how they're working right now. And so it would be good, but there's just something about it that I think it would lose. So again, I'm all right if they change it, but let's wait a couple of. That's my little asterisk on that one. I'm all right with it changing, but don't do it right now in the midst of dumb ideas and decisions everywhere.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I could see a nightmarish situation where they just turn it like, again, you have an idea when you enter that park and you look at that attraction, you look at that big geodesic ball and you think to yourself, man, that represents something, you know? And then what if you walked in, like you walked up to it and the mural changed to a kind of village filled with magic and you walked in and there was no we're getting close, just wait, and you walked in, there's a village of magic and you walked in and you got on a ride with the wonder and magic of Encanto in a, you know, in a ride that really it doesn't represent anything to do with the story or the representation of the story, and so I can see them doing something like that, and that's scary to me.
That's what I mean. As much as the idea of a storytelling ride is great, but it does not fit the geodesic sphere in front of Epcot. Right. It's like a marvel of technology.
Right.
Look, it's like, and what's inside? Something that has nothing to do with technology or the advancement or future or anything. It's like if they really want to go this route, maybe the Epcot ball needs to go too. Turn it into a big orange or something. I like oranges. That would fit better, you know. It's like everybody likes oranges, so there you go. It's a giant orange.
Yeah,
I'm orange, and you know, Encanto would be great inside that orange. It's a colorful, fun movie. Put it right in there.
I mean, I actually like Encanto. I think it's good. It's got good music and stuff, but it doesn't fit. It does not fit there. And if you want to do something with Encanto, then here's an idea. Make I think it's based in Colombia, I think, or one of the Latin American countries.
Colombia, yep.
So make a Latin American pavilion of some type, and you know, court the country. And if you can't court the country, then just use it as an excuse to feature Latin America culture and put a ride there. Put an attraction there. I mean, there's space back there. And
put it at the Magic Kingdom.
Or something like that. Yeah, Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
Since when are fairy tales real? None of them are.
Well, I mean, if you can fit it into Epcot if you put it in World Showcase and you say, this is our culture, we want to show the culture, and you add another attraction to Epcot. I'm okay with that. But
look what they did with Frozen. That's nothing.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, Frozen also doesn't specifically deal with Norway. They just kind of shoehorned it in there, you know. But I mean, it belongs at Magic Kingdom. But
anyway, the point is, Epcot is supposed to be the park that the grumpy dads enjoy after dealing with Mickey Mouse and Little Mermaid and Lion King at all the other parks. They finally get to Epcot and it's open and it's fresh air, wide open, and it's like, this is great, and let's go on this ride. Nothing to do with Disney on here. Wow, we really needed that break. You know, there's probably grumpy dads out there that are like, I was ready to snap, and now I feel much better. I'm going to go have a beer.
That's an awesome way.
That's good. That we need that. And unfortunately, Hollywood Studios used to be that too. It was a place that felt like Disney, but it had a lot of non-Disney too. You go on the Great Movie Ride. The only Disney thing I saw in there originally was Fantasia. It was like not Disney. And again, as somebody who didn't grow up in the Disney bubble, I really appreciated that stuff. And Epcot, I really appreciated for that fact that I didn't have to watch everything. And again, there's probably lots of dads and grandpas and even moms out there that just don't really care about Encanto, and they like other things to watch, not that. And so it's a great thing for them. And then the little kids, since things are new to them, it sticks in their head and they remember it forever. Where if you keep playing them in Kanto around every corner, they're going to be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what ride it was.
Mm-hmm.
Same stuff I saw in the car on the way there. I don't know. In my little video player in the car. I don't know. It's just not special. So
it's exactly
so
it.
Anyway, change Spaceship Earth. Don't do it right now. Make it special if you do. Don't just jam something in there. So.
Yeah, it's the centerpiece of the park, so I agree with you. It can be, again, for sure. It is currently, but let's...
not all answers will be this.
Yeah, no. Like, for example, let's, move on.
You want to go to the left first? Because this will be real easy.
Yeah, I mean...
You know what the next ride is? Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, we don't want that change. You didn't even get the ride.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say there. It's brand new. It's a great coaster.
Yeah. So let's
solid no.
That would have been interesting though if the old ride would have still been there, the Energy Adventure with Ellen. But I mean, with that said, now that is there, I mean, it's new. It's brand spanking new. It's new technology. All indications are that it's going to be, somewhat iconic maybe in the future. So, depending on its operations and stuff. But
a roller coaster in the dark, I have yet to see one that's not iconic. So
that's right.
That's a pretty basic formula there.
Yeah.
Put a roller coaster in a building. Man, when's the last one they did? They're like, nah, I don't like it. It's not good. It's like they're all... People love them.
They do. Okay, so let's move to what is currently open, which is Mission Space. Mission Space has gone through a few subtle evolutions, but honestly, John, in my opinion, at this point, I wouldn't have a problem if they took that down and did something else with it. It's kind of for me, it's kind of gotten a little long in the tooth, and I think the technology is based on like 90s type stuff. I mean, I would love to see something like a SpaceX with NASA attraction or something that maybe took the ride system and did something else if they wanted to do that, but I think it's in bad need of an update. They really haven't done much other than add the lesser, more mild version of it.
I was going to say the fact that, and I've never even ridden it, but just watching the videos, the fact that it replaced Horizon means it's always just going to be a lesser ride. So it's doomed from the start, because Horizons was just the music, everything about it was awesome. And when my daughter was younger, we did enjoy Mission Space, meaning we would ride it almost every time we went to Epcot. And she would buy the space ice cream when she left, and thought, we really enjoyed it. We loved Gary Sinise, and in our minds, he became entangled with Gary Sinise's over dramatic, flat speaking was a big part of it, And so for us, it was fun. My wife didn't go on it. It was, she didn't want to get sick or just didn't care. So she would go and get a coffee at Joffrey's. She would meet us outside when we were done. And I have great memories on it. But, right around 2017, when they replaced Gary Sinise with another woman in there and yet changed nothing else about the ride, it just didn't feel, it lost the nostalgia for me. And then I learned that the fact that I went on it with my daughter growing up is the only thing I really liked about it anymore, because I'm like, changing the person, like the woman who does it does a great job. But I'm like, this made me think, it's like, wait a minute, this ride is way too much waiting. You just wait in this room, wait in this room. The ride itself, the screen is so tiny. It's just not great. And again, It's one of my least ridden rides at Disney World at this point. And it wasn't always. Like I said, when my daughter was younger, we would ride it. It was fun. And again, yeah, I wouldn't, and I'm sure she feels the same. You could get rid of the ride today. This is one they could practice on and see if they can make a good decision. It's like,
yeah,
try
I
it
haven't
on
done
this
it in
one, because
years.
anything's going to be better. Nobody really cares about it anymore. And yeah, SpaceX would be such a cool concept. But if they change it though too, make it a more inclusive ride, meaning not racially or any of the other things that it's all Disney seems to think about, meaning everyone can ride it. Meaning if you're big, you can ride it. If you're tall, you can ride it.
Yeah.
If you get motion sickness, you can ride it. It's like, because right now it's such a tight thing. If you have claustrophobia, you can't ride it. There's just so many factors that make it hard to ride that, put a dark ride in there again.
Oh my gosh, John, you just almost described another ride called Horizons, which would
exactly.
Put in
Everybody
New
can ride Horizons.
Everyone would go
and
nuts.
it ate crowds. From what I heard, the amount of people that it could push through is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now it's funny. Disney doesn't seem to care so much about throughput of people, because they'll just charge more for it if you can't get on. It's like, oh yeah, we can just charge people then. They'll keep it in demand forever. So I don't know.
If they made it more timeless, kind of like Spaceship Earth is, until the end at least, if you did something timeless, which a lot of Horizons was timeless, and they went so far into the future that you didn't know how far into the future they went, and so that was a good formula. Now I don't understand the excuse that they used to get rid of Horizons, but if they did something like that,
we're still not living under the sea or in outer space, or not really in the desert like we were there either. So again, it's still not too late. It's like, yeah, that ride still could have been someday we'll be doing. And of course they could have used some changes, like they were like crystals. It's like, no, crystals.
Yeah, right.
I think that was shows the time a little. They would need to adjust a little bit.
That would have been an easy
but
fix.
Even that is kind of cool though. Like I never thought of crystals having anything to do with technology.
Yeah, but cool. Believe it or not, crystals do. I mean, I'm in an industry that I work on my day job where we do stuff like that turn into a ceramic, and ceramic is used in every electronic component that we use. So, I mean, it in a way, there's another way to look at it, that crystals were not in the way they portrayed it on Horizons. But my point is, overall, you could partner with a SpaceX or partner with one of these modern futurist companies and really come up with an amazing attraction there. Now, my guess is if they brought it down, it would be they would make it relevant to the new Buzz Lightyear movie attraction and probably do something like that. But think
I don't even
about
know if that's good yet. So.
Yeah, I know, but I mean that's the type of stuff that they do, for an example, So I mean that's the type of thing. So instead of thinking really forward, like think about the iconic rides that you think of, and Space Mountain would definitely be on.
None of them have Buzz Lightyear in it.
Right. It would be Space Mountain is iconic, and that retro futuristic look that Space Mountain does. You could definitely, I mean, Horizons to this day would be a popular attraction. All right. So anyways, we're kind of on the same page there. We really wouldn't mind if they changed that. All right. So on to Test Track. What do you think of Test Track, John? I mean, how attached are you to that?
Well, I don't want to get too in depth on every ride, or we'll be here all day. So, but basically, I don't care if they change Test Track. It's broken most of the time. Yeah. The new version is fine, but I don't really like it any more than the last version. So their updates are not that exciting either. It's like they went from Test Track to Tron Test Track, and I'm like, neither of them are great. I know some people do really like it a lot, but I got to drive my car to Disney World already. Right. I'm already driving on the turnpike at 90 miles an hour. Yeah. I'm like driving 64 on a fake car on Test Track. It doesn't do anything for me. I still do enjoy the ride for nostalgic reasons. Like I said, when I go there, I will go to the single rider line. I love that I could just get on it easily and take a trip around. And I like the smell of an Epcot ride. I enjoy it, but at the same time, that one I say go ahead and change. And even if you just make it, this is one too that go ahead and make it Cars one, just like the one in California. I heard that's fun. Add something to it. I don't mind that at all. Use the same type of technology, adjust the track a bit, make it a Cars one. And I'm not a fan of IP. I don't really like the Cars movie all that much, but this is one that I would not. It's fine, I don't mind them doing it. So.
John, what you said just makes sense. I really can't add much to it. I really agree. I agree with what you said. I think that if you added IP to any attraction, it would make more sense there than anywhere else in Epcot, I think. Cars would be a perfect fit. But even if you didn't do the IP, making some changes to that ride, I'd be okay with it. I like I said, there's things I really love about the ride, but there's also it's a little dated, and the operational issues that it has add to the fact that it could be changed. So I'm good with that. I agree with what you said. All right, why don't we start with the Seas with Nemo and Friends on the other side? I'm not a big fan, and I don't know anybody that's a huge fan of the Seas with Nemo and Friends as far as the ride itself. But it is attainable. You can get on it. Like right now, it has a 5-minute wait, so it's easy to ride. So in a way, I'm kind of split on this. I like the fact that you can get on some ride at Epcot in 5 minutes. That's good. I don't like that ride that much. I think it could use an update or a change of some type. And even if you did a Nemo, still did a Nemo thing, I think that would make sense with the theming there. But I'm okay if we change that ride in some way, shape, or form. Wow. I just don't want to change the pavilion. I really love the fact that you have the aquariums in there. It's an educational pavilion. I think we'd need to keep that. But if you want to change the attraction, even if you want to change Turtle Time with Crush a little bit and into something else, although I really like that for the kids, I think they do a great job there. I'm okay with it, but I guess what I'm saying is I'm kind of indifferent as far as the attractions go, but I would love to see the pavilion stay with the aquarium.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of what I've been saying for a long, long, long time here. When you IP up things, meaning, jamming in characters and stuff, it ages much faster.
It does.
And I hate to say it, but it is 100% true because I enjoyed the Nemo ride. I've ridden it a lot. I can tell you the last few times I went in it, it just feels tired. I'm like, I know everything at Disney World is the same ride. Spaceship Earth has been the same for so many years now, and yet it still feels unique. It feels good. I really enjoy it. The Nemo ride, I'm just not anymore. Like the last couple times I rode it, I thought to myself, it's just tired. I don't feel like riding it anymore. Next time I'll probably still ride it, but I was going to say, I've already considered just walking in through the gift shop and walking around in the aquarium because the aquarium is beautiful, but a weird sea base alpha, something that doesn't exist that you can only see there. I think that it may not be as popular at first, but I think it would grow in popularity over time and maintain popularity much, much, much longer than Nemo. So, and that's why I think things like Spaceship Earth, if that would have been, in Kanto's Story Earth, in 10 years, people are probably going to be like, I've had enough of that ride. I don't even go near it anymore. But Spaceship Earth, it's like it's unique. It's original. You can only see it there. It's like, people don't really get sick of it like they do. They look forward to visiting that again when they go to Epcot. And again, I don't need to go to Epcot to experience Nemo. I could watch it on my TV whenever I want. It's great, but I don't need to go there, and the ride is not really offering me anything more. So Anyway, the short answer, don't care. You can get rid of it. Obviously, you got to keep the aquarium, but I'd rather have a more educational ride under there myself.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a bad word at Disney right now, but I would love to hear some awesome stats about how vast the ocean is and how we haven't explored everything yet. Maybe put some projections of real things that live in the ocean that pop up. Like, oh man, imagine that, scare little kids just a little bit to get their adrenaline going, and they'll be that kind of thing can go a long way. It's like, let's take him. This is the part where he gets scared. You know what I mean? Like, I miss that kind of thing.
And I do think like you can even use it as an education resource for a light touch of environmentalism if you want to do that, and the sea, like portions of the seas where we've tried to recycle things and they end up in the water, like the plastics thing, that you hear a lot about. If you want to use it for that, you can use it for that and put that in there at one point.
Yeah,
but
they can recreate the giant garbage in the middle of the ocean.
Right, that's what I mean.
Put a small version in the middle of the aquarium. We can take. It'll have a Mickey symbol mixed in the garbage that's floating in the ocean, and then they can say Walt Disney World packaging contributes 98% of the world's garbage in the middle. When they do their mobile order, I could not believe I would get one little meal at the Polynesian. It would fill the whole garbage can up with layers of plastic and bags and plates, and I'm like, all I got is one sandwich. You could have handed it to me on a napkin. I would have been fine. It's like, no, but anyway, that's a side thing. I get mad about wastefulness, and
me too.
Like I said, half that garbage is probably from Walt Disney World in the ocean floating around.
Maybe they don't want to cover that at Disney.
Yeah, back to the seas.
But I agree. I think we're both on the same page with that one. But all right, let's move on to Living with the Land and the Land Pavilion itself. I don't really want to see this pavilion change. I really like it a lot. If you want to do a new movie, if you want to tweak the rides a little bit, but keep the same thing, like even Soarin', if you want to go back to Soarin' over California, or here's a concept, do something a little different, do like Soarin' over something else, but like give it the same spirit that California did. Like I think they missed the boat with Soarin' around the world with the CGI and all that stuff. Okay, we get it, Disney, you can do good CGI, but how about this? California and the spirit of Soarin' over California, it was real and it was relevant, and it was like it made us feel like we were there. So get back to that, because I don't feel like I'm in Africa when I see a CG elephant blow dust up over now.
Too. I was in Seattle a couple of years ago for this was work related, and on the pier in Seattle they had a Soarin' over Washington, or flying over. They renamed it, and they wouldn't allow you to video it because they basically ripped off Soarin'.
Yeah.
But they flew over real parts of Washington. They had they flew over wildflowers, Mount Rainier, all these things that are real places in Washington. And it was actually really good. I watched it. I was like, they did a really good job of that, because I've seen a lot of those places in person, and they did a great job covering it. And again, like you said, Disney did a great job with California, but it's just too unreal, the new version, to watch a lot of times. To watch it 10 times over 10 years, that's probably all right. But it's aging very fast because of the CGI. And I wish they would just say, let's do a test and put Soarin' over California in one of the theaters. I bet they would find that's the busiest theater 10-1 over anything else, because people enjoy it more. But anyway, for the Land Pavilion overall, I don't really care for that movie that much. So, but overall, I think it should stay. Like Garden Grill is great. The quick service in there is great. The Living with the Land is awesome. I hope they never get rid of that. And
me too.
And as a side note with that, I posted Living with the Land, and I posted the new Guardians. Living with the Land got twice as many likes. It's like, I don't know. People really like that. It just goes to show you, people still love it, you know, even if they don't go to it all, they still love it. But Soarin', like you said, change it to California and or something more realistic, and they can do that, you know. It's not hard to do. And that movie, I think they need to figure out a better thing to put in there. It's a great theater. It's a great place to sit. I've seen that movie a few times now. It's not terrible, but it doesn't really have the rewatchability that I would like. And it's preachy too. You know, it's always saying, "Oh, here's the way things are." It's like, well, I don't like to be preached at that much when I'm at Disney either. But even if they change that to a preview center for their new movies, for their new series, I wouldn't even care about that if it was just self-promotion. I just feel like it's not being used well for what they're trying to do there. So.
Well, I think they have the capability in there too of doing some 4D type stuff, like blowing wind at you or doing
wind and water. That definitely.
Yeah, so I think you could do that in there, and even do, like you said, self promotion that would change every so many months. You know, that would be fun. But you know, you said about the Soarin' thing over in Seattle. Actually, the company that helped design that ride, that's who does those particular rides. There's also one in, I think, Pigeon Forge or somewhere like that, somewhere in Tennessee. Yeah. So, and it's like a steampunk theme, and they do some very similar things to what you just described. So they've taken that ride mechanic and done something similar with it. So they you can't film in a lot of those rides. There's more than just those. There's a couple of them around the world, and it's a similar mechanic. And you know, again, it's just the company that actually helped create that ride at Epcot and at California Adventure. So if it seems similar, it is because it's the same company. So with that said, yeah, I mean, I guess we're in agreement on that one too. Let's go to imagination. And this one can get a little complicated because I think we both love imagination, the pavilion and things, but let's face it, it's dated. The latest version is not the greatest version that's ever been there. And you know, let's add Dreamfinder back in there.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think we had talked before and said add Dreamfinder, or have the Imagineers sit down and watch what the last version was when it was actually good, and tell them, make it like this, but obviously even better. Use new technology, make it even more cool stuff, you know, because the current version is terrible. I don't want to see it change to like a movie IP or something, but you know, just I really do want it to change. It's one of the crappiest rides in all of Epcot and probably Disney World in general. It's just not good. And again, I ride it occasionally, but it's just kind of a sad ride. Like it needs, and that's what bothers me too. Disney has that sitting there, and they're like, "Oh, let's change Spaceship Earth." It's like, hey guys, remember this pavilion? How about we please do something with this first, you know? And if you do a good job, then you can go to that one next. But
right,
chances are,
yeah, I agree. And I don't want to see it go. I don't want to see the pavilion itself go, but they need to do something about that ride. And I think I think that's a universal thing though, you know, like not Universal Parks, but I mean, universally, everyone's kind of like, yeah, that ride could use a change. Keep Figment. We need Figment because he's like the icon of the park. But, you know, and I think imagination is very important and a very important part of that pavilion, but let's do something there. As far as the movie theater, that preview center thing that they have next to the pavilion, I don't really care one way or another what they do there. I don't really consider that attraction. I very rarely ever go back there myself.
Well, here's the thing now. I think they definitely need to change it though, because it used to be pretty good. Remember, you're talking about the Pixar short place, right?
Yeah, where they had Captain EO back there back in the 80s.
Yeah, see, Captain EO was a much more interesting thing to have there.
It was.
Not that I liked it, but Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Yeah, that was there too.
That was pretty well done. And again, it was very unique, and it wasn't IP, but I really wish they would do something along those lines. That whole theater can move around and shake, and there you can do a lot of effects in there. I don't feel like they're utilizing it properly and should really, I love that Get a Horse cartoon, and it's great effect. But again, it's not a long-term thing. It feels like a short-term solution, which worked great in the short term, but I think they need to put something long-term in there.
Very solid point. I didn't think, yeah, there is promise there because the Honey, We Shrunk the Audience was an awesome attraction.
Yeah, it was memorable. It lasted a lot of years, and a lot of people have fond memories. They even had the thing where they would like flick stuff at your feet for the mice running by, and there was a lot of effects. So it was a very good theater. And again, it's already IP, so there you go, Disney. There's something that's begging for you to use your precious IP. Jam it in there. I don't mind at all. Go ahead. Put something in here.
They're filming a new Honey, We Shrunk, like kind of a reboot film with some of the original cast. So you never know. Maybe that's coming soon.
That I wouldn't mind seeing something, obviously a newer, clearer, better version of it. Yeah. But it was a great idea, It was a lot of fun. It was one that they would even advertise. I remember if you're watching like resort TV, they would definitely say shrink down to the size of a bug and blah blah blah. Right. You know what I mean? Like it was Disney really pushed it a lot, and I'm sure everybody remembers it that was there at the time.
Yeah, agree. All right, let's move on to World Showcase, and I just want to go over real quick, and I don't know how much time you want to spend on some of these, but Canada for me, the movie is trash. The movie's trash. Just put something good in there. If you, I don't think you could do much as far as an attraction, but if you want to put here's an idea: put an attraction in there. You got room there, going over the falls, going over Niagara Falls or something. Well, no, don't do that because that's something at Niagara Falls. You could do that there. But
I was listening to the audio of the previous version, and it was a lot of fun. Martin Short joking through the whole thing, arguing with the narrator. It was just fun. And the sad thing is, they used the actor and actress from Schitt's Creek, who are so good. And everybody heard that, and they're like, this is going to be hilarious. These are like really, really highly respected actors who are in an extremely popular comedy. And I watched that whole thing. For anyone who didn't, I highly recommend it. It was just a great show, like so well done in every way. Like I just loved it. So, but anyway, they did nothing for it. It was not funny. It was not it was just bland and boring. And Disney knows it too. They shut that down all the time for whatever festival. They're like, let's close it for this, close it for that, because they know it's just bad and nobody cares. So, and again, the people they had do it, it sounded like it was going to be even better than Martin Short because those actresses were so good in Schitt's Creek, and I'm like, and that's their newest. I mean, they're both been around a long time, but that's the newest thing they did, and it's like. Just didn't pan out that way. I didn't even know it was them until later. Someone said that. I was like, oh, that makes it even sadder, Two really funny people.
Yeah, lots of promise there.
Funny. I'm like,
just unfulfilled promise there. And, so do something with the movie, I think would be.
And I hope by mentioning Schitt's Creek, we don't get an explicit warning.
No, I hope not. Okay, let's move on to the UK Pavilion. I don't think there's much to do there because there's not much there. It's just stores and shops. I mean, what do you have an idea there? I mean, that Mary Poppins thing had some promise. It sounded good.
To Mary Poppins slowly make it disappear.
Yeah. But the thing is, they announced an attraction. I kind of had a feeling it would have been like Story Time with Belle or something. That's what I always saw because that's what Disney does sometimes. And as it turns out, they didn't do anything. So if they want to do something with Mary Poppins, I think that'd be awesome. Something along that line. So I mean, I don't know. I think other than that, is there anything you want to change there? I think
I don't really do much there, honestly.
Yeah, I don't.
It's one of my least favorite pavilions. Although sometimes they have people playing music in the back. That's fun.
Yeah.
Anything they want to change there, I'm say go ahead. Let's see how I'm good.
I'm with you on that. I think if they want to change something, go for it. The France Pavilion is next, and to me at this point, and you may disagree with this, so we may have a disagreement here with it, and that's fine. I think the France Pavilion is darn near perfect at this point. Like I like it. I like the fact they put a ride there. I think it's beautiful, backed by the Ratatouille thing. I'm not saying Ratatouille is a major attraction ride type thing, but I'm good. It's something there, and I think the pavilion itself has a lot of variety.
Oh, I agree. I don't even know how I'd improve the France Pavilion right now. You have crepes, you got ice cream, you have a decent restaurant, you have a theater to watch that classic movie, and then to watch the Bells sing along. Like they play both. So, and then the Ratatouille ride. I'm like, you put all that together, and that is a really well done pavilion, like well rounded in every way. Like, you put it all together, and I don't have any complaints.
All right, then we're in agreement on that. Great. Morocco. I don't know. I don't do a lot in Morocco. It's neat looking. I think it's kind of cool as far as the architecture. This is one case where they could put like an IP in or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe.
They need something there. The restaurant Marrakesh was closed, and I never got to eat there because my family's picky, and I wish I did. I heard it was good. I still eat at the Tangerine Cafe fairly frequently. They have garlic lemon chicken kebabs and things like that. Just really good food there. But again, since Morocco dropped the sponsorship and Disney took it over, I'd be happy with anything they do there, because the pavilion was kind of dead for like a year or two, and then it came back now, but it's really not much there and not much going on. When it was really the Morocco Pavilion, and they had people from Morocco working there and real handcrafted items all over for sale and things like that, I kind of liked it. You could meet Jasmine and Aladdin in the back, which I think you still can now. But again, it just feels tired and run down now, where it needs something. And there's nothing there. I guess the point of this particular podcast is, would we care if they changed anything about it? Not really.
Yeah, I'm with you. On to the Japan Pavilion. I would care if they changed some things about this. They could add something to it if they wanted to, but I think the store is an attraction itself. The pagoda is amazing. The gardens are amazing. I mean, what do you think there, John?
Oh, I agree. The only thing that I wouldn't mind, if they could figure out a way to add a ride somewhere deep in the back where it wouldn't take away from anything else. Like, I think they had talked many years ago about a Mount Fuji going back there and making a roller coaster. Again, it would take some backstage area away, but obviously adding is always a good thing, but there's nothing about it. I wouldn't be okay if they just changed it all, because it just has such an authentic feel to it, and it is a very enjoyable pavilion.
The American Pavilion is next, and for me, a lot of people probably feel like this is an outdated attraction. I like it. I do. I'm just a corny American, I guess, and I just like the attraction. I like the fact they have an art gallery in there. I like the fact that they've captured barbecue, and they did it in a Muppets way in there. I really like the American attraction. If they got rid of it and did something better, okay, but I'm not attached to this necessarily, but I like it, so I don't know. If they did something drastic, I wouldn't be happy about it.
Yeah, see, this is one where we disagree. I wouldn't care if they changed it, and I only say that because even the show they do, it's only so many times a day. There's only a handful of times you can see it. It's very time consuming, meaning it's going to be a while. And again, I do like it, but I can tell you, I could ride it. Since I moved to Florida, I've probably been on it like once, twice. So that's in 5 years. So obviously I don't care about it enough to actually go on it. I do think it's well done. As far as Golden Dreams, I prefer the last version to this one. Like it had like Tony Hawk in it and stuff. Like it kind of fit my generation better. The one before the current movie at the end, that one would get me choked up, and I enjoyed it more. But now, not as much. Like I feel like I'm too disconnected from the new one. So again, it's good, but I think you can tell by the lines that again, this is one that.
Yeah, you're in the majority.
They could definitely need to do something because again, you want to change Spaceship Earth. There's always a line of people going in that. I don't really see. When's the last time the theater was full for American Pavilion? I'd love to know. Probably.
I agree that
1980 something.
Yes, you're right, and that's it. It's like a nostalgia thing for me, I guess. So, you're in the majority the way you feel. Moving on to Italy, I don't care what they do there. Honestly, they can do anything. To me, it doesn't personify anything that seems like what other than a statue, and a fountain.
Yeah, I don't like any. I don't hate them, but I don't care about the restaurants. I don't care. I rarely go back there. Has no rides. I don't care about the stores, and it's not terrible, but I don't care about it enough that I would not care if they changed it, basically. And I hear the food is good, but like where you live, you could get the better food for 1/10 the price. So it's like hard to justify. Oh, pizza, it's only $40. It's like, wait a minute, I can get this for 10 and it's better.
I'm always amazed by that. Like it's such a normal part of life. Like Italian restaurants, good Italian, even corner hole in the wall Italian restaurants everywhere, pretty much in the Northeast. But once you get out of the Northeast, you don't see it like you do up here. It's always amazed me. Like people come back to this area and they're like, "Oh, I got to go to," we have a Italian like kind of sometimes they're hole in the wall type things, like counter service restaurants. Oh, the original Italian pizza, OIP. People when they come back into the area that come from here, that's the first place they visit. I'm always amazed by that. And so I don't think you really, maybe that's the appeal to Italy. I don't know, but I'm not crazy about I usually skip right over it. Honestly, I do. It's just not, there's nothing really appealing there for me. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people that frequent Italy, to be honest with you. Germany is kind of hit or miss for me. I like the trains, the train thing. I like the pretzels and the beer and the restaurant. I've never been in a restaurant, but the videos seem pretty cool. But I'm not really attached to anything here. So if they want to change that,
once again, the restaurant looks awesome. Now it has like a tree in there on the stage, and they play live music and everything. It looks like it's a lot of fun. But again, I live with such picky eaters that I've never been able to eat there.
I'm with you on the
I
same
really
thing.
would love to try it sometime, though. But as of right now, because I never have even eaten there, Germany. I like the Weathers caramel shop.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't really do much there, and I would not be upset if they changed anything there. Although I did hear they have a show building that they were going to do the Rhine River adventure, and they never made it, and they use it for storage. So how about that? That
would be awesome. That'd be awesome. As we move along, they kind of have that African outpost. I think that is really sad. Like if you I don't care what they do here, but like it's just I think it's kind of a pathetic attempt to shoehorn Africa in there. If you're going to do Africa, do Africa. If you want to do a continent, if you want to do a specific country, there are great vast cultures all throughout Africa that you could choose and do something with. And I think it's sad that they haven't ever done anything with it. I would love to go to to a Nigerian pavilion or a South African pavilion. I mean, they held off South Africa because of apartheid. Apartheid's over now, so you can put something in there and even do a school people on what apartheid was all about with a film or something. I mean, just put something in there. I'm good with whatever they want to do there, but if they got rid of that pavilion or that section and did something, I'm good with that. And I think you're probably in agreement with that, right?
Oh
So
yeah. I don't care about it at all. Like typically I walk past it.
yeah, me too.
Occasionally I would get an ice water from the thing there, but that's about the extent of my interaction with it. But I was gonna say, if we keep walking, what's next? China?
China's next. Yeah.
Now I don't know about you, but I would be. I like China. I love the China movie. I love the store is awesome. It's like the Japanese store. It's not quite as awesome as that, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still very unique and like a place that I've never seen anywhere else. So I like the garden. I like
Oh, the garden's beautiful.
the acrobats when they have them. They're really good. So I love the quick service. I always get the orange chicken. It's way overpriced, but it's a nice break if you're eating chicken tender or chicken nuggets all week. To have some of that. So
Yeah.
I really like it. Now I did hear they're going to change the movie, which that's always good to update the movie. But overall, I would rather them not change this one too much because I really do like the whole pavilion basically.
I love that movie, and let's hope it doesn't go in the direction of the Canadian movie.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Man, but in the movie, and if you go into the movie, they have a little museum as far as showing the Asian parks, the Asian Disney parks, and their dress. They have mannequins in there with dress, and they actually have scale models of the parks, and they are amazing. I love models, and just looking at them. I really like that section. It's like a little mini museum.
Yeah, and that changes over time. It's usually something to do. Well, it is something to do with China, some type of display, because they had the terracotta soldiers in there too, a replica of them, like a full size replica that was really cool too, that they had for a long time. So, like I said, I do feel like they did a good job at China. Obviously, it's outdated a little, some of it, but overall still really cool,
Hmm.
between the water and the pavilion and what is it called, like the Temple of Heaven or whatever. Like it's very well done
It
overall.
is.
So I really do enjoy that one.
So I'm with you. We don't want to change that. If you want to add an attraction, add one or something. But I think it's good with the way it is. You can't have an attraction at every single pavilion. Speaking of pavilions with attractions, Norway. Uh, we both have our thoughts on what was there before the Frozen
Yeah.
ride. I, I'm kind of mixed on this. Like, I would love to see the old attraction back, but I also really like this pavilion a lot. I like the scenery, some of the hidden things, the little museum of the Viking gods. There's even it's kind of a nice meet and greet in there with Anna and Elsa, and the nice little like kind of house that you walk through there to get to them to meet. There's like nice scenery, nice artifacts and things like that in there. I do like this pavilion. I wouldn't want them to change it other than maybe if they went back to a non-IP ride. I like I said, I'm not like really attached to it. If they wanted to do something else, that's okay. But I do like the pavilion itself. So
Yeah, I would have said definitely don't change it before they changed it. But now
yeah,
that they did, I really don't care what they do with it. I rarely go on the ride. I rarely go into the pavilion for anything. Where it used to be a staple of every trip, but now it's like I don't really go there anymore. So again, they could change it to anything they want, and I don't really care. So that for me, that's a go ahead and change it one. But
mm.
used to be one of my favorites. So.
All right, and last is Mexico. I think that's probably where we're going to wrap up this journey, right,
Yep.
John? And so the Mexico Pavilion, where you actually have a ride, I would say if you want to tweak the ride, that's okay. But everything else, I love this pavilion. It's one of my favorites, and just the inside market and all the handcrafted things, the legitimate like authenticity of things that are going on in this pavilion. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I would have said don't change the ride back when it was El Rio de Tiempo. But
Yeah.
now that it's Three Caballeros, it's another one that was fun for a while, but now just kind of feels old and sad when you're going through it. So again, they really want to push the new IP. Everybody agrees Coco was so great in this. Just
Yeah, it would work.
make the change, but I heard they don't want to make the change because they'd have to close the restaurant. The restaurant is run by a third party, so they're literally going to be taking money away from one of their partners in order to redo the ride and blah blah blah. So it turns into a big mess. But if there's any way you could change that to Coco, I would be actually happy with that instead of saying, oh no, not my Three Caballeros, don't change it. It's like they're all right, but again, it feels kind of tired and
Yeah.
it feels kind of offensive too. Like I'm not an offended kind of guy, but that's not really Mexico. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
a
I do.
Donald Duck. It's
do.
almost like they're Donald Duck and his friends pretending to be Spanish. It's like at least Coco's based on actual Mexican culture, and they tried to be sensitive about it. You know, like again, nobody cares about the feelings of the people of Norway, so they just jammed in Frozen and said now
Yeah.
it's a fictional place called Arendelle. But you would think that a big country like Mexico and a country so close to us and so shared in culture that they'd be a little more sensitive than just saying, look, Donald Duck's Spanish now, bam. It's like,
Yeah, it does. It seems a little outdated. So I think maybe it's time
But yeah,
for a change.
Coco is one of the few newer movies that I actually saw. And again, I love the Day of the Dead holiday. I think that's such a more positive holiday than, in our culture, we sit around and cry about it. There, they celebrate life that was, it's like, just seems like such a better way to handle things like that.
Yeah, great point. I think that's a good place to end up on there in Epcot. So overall, it's been a mixed bag. It's quite a journey through Epcot. I think there's a lot of things that we definitely want to keep there, and a lot of things that could change. All right, John, how did your social media go?
Well, I try to keep it abbreviated. My CUO one, if you can say that.
Oh yeah, wow, what a drop.
Yeah, that went from doing great and continued on. Like they said from now on the most you get is, I don't know, 5,000 views a day, something really low, and it never went above that. Just this is what it is. And again, that's how you can tell it's fake, because in real life things vary and natural fluctuations. Yeah. When someone is capping your maximum views, they can cap it to basically the same place every day. They know what you're going to get. But anyway, I just had one that I did last night that's doing pretty good, though. It's up to 11,000 views already. And let's see, 1,360 likes from yesterday. So just goes to show you, eventually, if you keep trying, you might come back a little bit. My SeeWDW has been fairly standard. I'm much lower than I have been in past months. I think, like, as far as my bonus goes, I'm barely over 200 and it's almost over. And I finally just broke 1 million bonus plays for this month, but it's literally over this Friday. So in the past, I could get 500,000 on one video. This has been weeks to get up to 1 million in total. So it's like nothing's really been hitting anymore. So, but again, I keep trying. I'm up to 66,300 followers. That's pretty cool. 29,200 on CUO. And let's see, anything. Yeah, there's a lot of these that they literally cap out, like, so specifically. I did... Even I did one walking into the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I got 13,300 views. Even Neil Patrick Harris liked it.
Wow.
So that's a pretty big deal. And yet, only let me look at the breakdown here. Yeah, 12,000 people it reached, and I have 66,000 followers. So it just goes to show you. They don't show my stuff very well, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, I keep fighting it, trying. On TikTok, I am down to 52,132 followers. So I'm within the same like 20 to 30 range for weeks now. And, but my videos are doing all right. Like I put up a Splash Mountain one this morning. I'm up to 6,436 views already. And I got some interesting comments. People are saying, why on earth would you want to change this beauty for a lesser ride? And this sound brings me so much happiness. I love this ride so much. The serotonin boost this just gave me is unreal. That's some nice comments,
That's great comments.
But yeah, just interesting though. And that, like I said, that's doing good for today. Like, so my newest one is doing pretty well. But overall, social media is not doing real well. I mean, Facebook stock has been beaten up terribly. Maybe they're trying to save money but again, I have been noticing though, my recommendations lately are all small accounts, meaning, 2,000, 3,000, small like that. And when I checked like a hashtag the one day, like I wanted to look at sci-fi, it said that the top reel was somebody who had much less than I did. And then I looked up why that would be. And they said, if Instagram feels that your account is too big, that it's not fair to compete with smaller accounts, that you won't, it'll take you off the hashtag as the top reel because it's not fair to compete with smaller accounts. Wow, I wish that was the case when I was a smaller account, because I seem to be timing everything wrong for the benefits of this. When I was an account of that size, they pushed you only towards the big guys. Yeah. And now they're like, now that I'm like a medium size, now they're only going to small ones. And it's not fair that I can compete with small ones. So I'm going to be capped out at like 10,000 views. No matter what, I can't go any further. And I saw some of these small accounts that have like a couple thousand followers. They're getting like 5,000 likes and stuff. I'm like, man, I haven't gotten that in like a year, It's like, and I have enough that I should be able to get that on every post, but I can't. So anyway, Instagram, I'm definitely in an extremely controlled place with them right now. So all I can do is keep trying now, because that's what I was thinking the other day too. When I had like 30 or 40,000 followers, my goal was, I was like, all right, I got to get at least 1,000 likes per video to be successful. Well, now that I have more than double that, I still can only get about 1,000 likes per video. So twice the followers, no increase in likes at all, So again, it's just frustrating. And, all you can do is keep trying, because like I said, eventually things tend to come around if you don't give up. So
yeah, it's like you got to wonder if when you contacted them or did that survey, if that didn't like shadow ban you.
I forgot about that, because that's what happened with the CUO one. I was at 2 million reach in 30 days. Like, that count was on fire. They wanted to know if I trusted Facebook and Meta, and if I thought they were fair and this and that. And I was honest. I was like, no, I don't. And they wanted to know if I had any other thoughts. I said, can you please just let the people who follow me see my videos? That's all I ask of you. Then all of a sudden my reach was cut to nothing. So again, based on everything you see, there's a lot of crappy people who work at these places. So, and I don't know any other way to say it than
it's true. They're very scornful and vengeful type people.
They go on these little power trips where
they do. You're right.
They teach people lessons a lot, and they're probably supposed to do it anyway. So why not do it to the guy who's not happy he's big enough? It's like, well, I've been watching for a long time, and I'm very good at observing and noticing patterns and stuff. So, like I said, either I'm crazy or, one random day, my universal, I just happen to only have a very small percentage of people like my stuff from that time on, and that's the end of it. It's like, I don't think so. Life doesn't tend to work that way.
Wow.
It just doesn't. So
Well, it's
life does not match that chart in any
It doesn't.
way.
Well, it's funny because if you look here, look at what I have. There's there's
Yep,
your,
there it is.
and there's the survey, and I got the survey. They want me to
Yeah.
take the survey, and I'm gonna be honest, and we'll see what happens. So
Yeah, tell them you definitely trust them.
I definitely, absolutely.
There's nobody more trustworthy than Mark Zuckerberg. In that movie, didn't he steal the whole idea from like his roommates or something? It's like the whole company's stolen. So yeah, I don't know if I trust that guy. Even starting out, I'm like, I don't trust him. He's not. No.
All right.
Here's a side story too. My old neighbor who lived in New York, he owned stores in New York. Guess who worked for him as a teenager? Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh my goodness, what do you think?
Oh, he said he didn't really interact with his employees too much, but he did say that he used to sell alcohol to underage kids for a bribe. Like they'd give him money, and he'd be like, he said he had to tell him about that already. He's like, can't sell to these guys. So basically, he'd sell underage kids. So there you go.
Wow.
Take that, Zuckerberg.
Now you're definitely going to be shadow banned for sure.
Oh no, his dad actually, this guy said he had it on video, like because he had video cameras and all his things, and he was joking around years later when all of a sudden Facebook was new. He said Zuckerberg's dad told him, don't you put anything out like this, don't show it. And again, nobody would really care anyway. It's like, wow, he really, but I'm just saying that little story, whether it's real or not, who knows? But I don't know why my neighbor would make up something weird like that if it wasn't. And he was from New York. His name was Khalid. He was a Jordanian guy who lived in New York. And again, he might not be telling the truth, but that makes sense though. A little bit of bribery, a little bit of corruption. I'm like, hey, that's Facebook.
That's how you. That's right.
That's the Facebook start.
That's awesome. That's a great story. All right, John. So that should do it for this week. Next week might be a little different because I'm going to be in the parks, and we're going to meet up in the parks at some point by the sound of it. So maybe we'll record something quick and just kind of post an update for a podcast rather than a full episode for next week. And we'll see. That's going to be an evolving thing. But in the meantime, if you want to check this particular podcast on YouTube with some of the videos that will be included from John's trips to the park, that will be released before I leave this week. Well, it won't be released before I leave, but it will be on a scheduled release. So it should be Friday that will come out on YouTube. So check it out. All right, that should do it. We'll see you on the next one.